Welcome to Joe's Astrology. This is the composite astrology chart for Aaliyah and R. Kelly, R&B singers. And if you're not familiar with the composite is where I put the two charts together and calculated midpoints between all of their attributes, planets, houses, etc. We have the birth time for both, so this is a complete accurate composite chart. And look at the seventh house between these two. So this is them as a couple. What does it look like when they come together as a couple? And we see in the seventh house, Uranus and Moon conjunct in the seventh house of relationships. And this relationship was controversial. I think she was 15. He was in his 20s. So an unusual, unorthodox relationship with that moon in this moon Uranus in the seventh. And I'm just looking at this now for the first time, and I think that's going to be, just seeing that right away, that is showing you the power of the composite chart. We see Pluto here on the seventh house cusp in the sixth as well. So with Pluto here in the sixth, in the deepest part of the chart, Pluto, the soul. And they're both Capricorns. And you can see this Pluto is making a trine to Venus, Mercury, and Sun. And the Sun is in the Virgo decan of Capricorn. So I would suspect that this is a relationship that many people from the outside are not going to understand. With the emphasis on a deep level from Virgo, where these two coming together, probably having some really good cathartic conversations, and really being a relationship where it's very therapeutic. If you got to know you know how the news is in Hollywood, etc. If you got to know this couple in real life, I think you would see that there was a very, very much a Virgo component to it, where they're sharing deeper parts of themselves with each other, and really enjoying that aspect of the relationship, it being a trine between Pluto and these planets as well. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a square. It's a square between these, but the idea that Pluto's in the sixth is giving it more. I think giving it more of an easy flow. But you could say the square is what's seen from the outside. That even though this exists, this is a relationship that's not going to be practical. It's not gonna last. We see that also with the Uranus moon, that can be short-term, very short-lived. We see Jupiter in the fourth, the North Node in Cancer in the fourth. This is a very emotional connection. And I'm not going to deny that with the South Node, with all this Capricorn and the South Node being there at 16 degrees in the 10th, and this heavy emphasis on Capricorn, Cancer in the signs and the houses, this obviously could be her looking for a surrogate father, and him being a Capricorn, that could be part of it as well. You also see the South Node with connection with Mercury, so more of that emphasis of Mercury and Virgo, where they're coming from, maybe dealing with some of these issues. I'm not going to get into the psychology of it. I'm not a psychologist. You can use your imagination. See, we have a Jupiter Neptune trine, as well as Mars. So there's some, and you can see the emphasis with Neptune and Venus. Neptune trining Neptune and Jupiter, especially Neptune, in the same degree as the ascendant, and with Chiron on the ascendant. This is a very therapeutic relationship that no one is going to understand. See, the ruler of the chart is Mars. It's with Neptune. It's a fantasy. It's out of this world. Uh, Very much with Neptune there. It's a lot Neptune emphasis. It's a lot that people aren't going to understand, which is usually the case when it comes to Pisces. People don't understand Pisces for the most part, just in general. You can see Venus on the midheaven. I mean, all in all, besides some of those, just in general, this is a composite chart that I think I might actually like to have that type of this type of composite in my life. Uh, just a lot of good things that we see here. We see Saturn trine that Uranus. Saturn in the third, great place to have Saturn the third and the ninth. But I really like that Neptune in the same degree as the ascendant, and the Pluto in the same degree as the MC. Uh, people you think the midheaven, the people looking from the outside, the public image. It's this Plutonian with Pluto and Venus there. It's this Plutonian relationship. It's taboo. Um, it's dark. It's dirty. It's secretive. It's misunderstood. We see that there with the Pluto in the same degree squaring the midheaven with Venus. Personally, I don't mind that. I like it. I mean, people. That's why people are gravitated to this type of relationship when in the news, uh, and it probably continues to this day. People still occasionally bring it up and think about it and talk about it, but really, at the end of the day, they're subconsciously desiring um, that they could experience this kind of relationship in their own life, because they deep down they know they can't, because they're afraid. They're afraid to uh, they're afraid to express their real true desires. We see a couple quincunxes here with Jupiter in Leo and Venus in Capricorn. So very fortunate, we have the aspect between Venus and Jupiter, but you can see there's an adjustment there. But even more Virgo aspects when it comes to that. That's a Virgo inconjunct. Saturn Sun is making an inconjunct. I mean, clearly you can tell that this relationship isn't going to last. That's usually the case with these types of relationships, and considering the things I mentioned about Neptune and Pluto, uh, very hard to sustain that, regardless of how deep a connection it is. There's much more to be said about this chart. I'm going to leave it there for now, and please subscribe to the channel for more astrology chart breakdowns, and I hope you have a great day.